This guy was noting here that the most recent album starts out with a couple of very rather aggressive-sounding numbers for you guys. Is this intended to kind of get things off to jumpstart the affair?
Who knows? They ended up being the first two songs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we recorded the whole album, there are a lot of songs that get written usually, and we tend to go for more mellow stuff, and this time we wanted stuff that would be fun to play live.
Mm-hmm.
And so the songs we gravitated toward tended to be a little more, I don't know, a little more bouncy this time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was more a function of that than anything else. We just had a lot of time off, and we didn't want to get mellow. We'd been mellow for a long time, and we wanted to have some fun.
I haven't heard much about your guys' live performance, but I guess it's something that it's a side of the band that fans should get acquainted with.
I guess so. Hopefully.
Do you tour very much?
Well, we've toured, not yet, on this record at least. We toured for about a year and a half for Dulcinea. We toured for over 2 years for Fear. I mean, we've been on, that's partly why it's been so long between records.
Mm-hmm.
Since, like, 1989, we've toured at least about half the time, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
For a period of, say, 8 years, we were home for half of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so since I was 18, I think I'd never been home longer than, I think there was one 6-month period
really?
where I got to stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
So we liked the idea of trying to take a year at home to see what it was like.
So that was what was behind the hiatus.
Yeah, but so traditionally we've toured an awful lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I guess during this time you became a father, it says here?
Twice. Yeah.
Been busy there.
Been very busy there.
Mm-hmm.
Randy became a father once.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great year.
Mm-hmm. I guess after I have to get the pronunciation of Dulcinea,
Mm-hmm.
you guys, what you figured you had sort of accomplished what you had wanted to accomplish, and you felt comfortable taking time off. What exactly was behind the change?
We talked about it for a while, just taking, after we'd done 4 albums and toured as much as we could on all of those, that we would take a break. We put out a record of B-sides to kind of fill the gap. But my wife and I, we'd really wanted children, and there was, I didn't want to enter into fatherhood and then leave immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to have time to be home. Same with Randy and Heather, and so we'd just been waiting and waiting for this break to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that was it more than anything. But at that point we'd been 4 records, a lot of touring, and we deserved a break at that point.
Mm-hmm. And did you see this most recent release as the start of, say, Chapter 2, or is that a bit too coy?
Well, maybe it's too coy. Who knows? I mean, it's different because we've been together for so long. I started working with Todd. I met him when I was 14 and started writing with him, and then the band really started when I was 15. So it's been 11 years, and we get into a lot of bad habits. Just personal relationships, how we work as a band. We that anybody you've known for that long and have a working relationship with, things can get complicated. And I think
is that a way of saying you got tired of seeing each other's face?
Yes and no. It just there wasn't a ton of excitement about being in a band together. We enjoyed working together. We thought we made good music. We don't argue very much. We're more passive aggressive. There's 4 passive aggressives in the band.
Mm-hmm.
So usually we spend most of our time not arguing, and every once in a while there's a huge explosion. But we're not always at each other's throats. But by the end of all that time, it was just like, yeah, well, we do music, we're in a band, and when we took a year off, Randy drummed for another band in town. I played in this band called Flapping Flapping, and by the time we got back together and practiced, especially having played with some other people and found it enjoyable and everything, I realized for the first time that I was in a really good band, and I think just taking the time off made me come back and not take it for granted. Made me look at what everybody did and be really excited about it, which I think another reason that it's maybe a little more upbeat and aggressive was that taking that time off and then coming back together, it got us over some of the lethargy that we'd been experiencing. I mean, we just took it all for granted, I think.
Yeah.
And we came back, and all of a sudden it was fun. We were in this great band. We were having more fun practicing than we'd ever had. We were more excited about making a record than we'd ever been. And I mean, hopefully that carried through. So, I don't know, broke out of some old habits, which I think are well lost.
Shook the cobwebs out.
Apparently so. Hopefully so.
Mm-hmm. He also notes here that it sounds like a lot more studio work went into this, if you will. He says, where before you guys kind of sounded like you were recording with just a couple of mics in a room, whereas this one sounds a little bit more crafted. Is that an apt observation?
I don't know. Actually, I think the past 3 albums have become successively less studio-oriented, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Fear was extremely studio. Dulcinea was a little more. This was a lot looser, at least the recording of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe our ability improved a little. But to me, this felt like a much freer process. We don't spend a lot of time actually recording. Most of the arrangement, the way the guitars work together, the way the rhythm section works, is all done in rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the kind of band who goes in and experiments a lot on tape.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some songs like Little Buddha that was more of an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, since we're a live band, we arrange the parts around that. There's not a lot extra ever. Most of the songs, I don't know, are pretty much the way we play them live.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I mean, we like well-crafted songs. We like everything to fit together. We're not a wall of sound kind of band.
Mm-hmm.
So by nature of our parts, they fit together, but I think that's more of the band arrangement than the attention paid to it in the studio.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A couple of questions here with sort of a common theme. The first being about the single "Come Down," which is a very catchy sort of number, and yet I guess the boy who the song is about eventually ends. You have to forgive me. I don't know anything. I don't have the lyric sheet. But
Okay.
The boy leaves. It can be construed as indicating the boy leaving at the end.
The boy leaving?
Does that make any sense?
I'm trying to think of what's being said in the song. The boy leaving. I think the person has it tagged as more of a relationship song than it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not I don't know. I don't know if it's quite so boy meets girl. The boy leaves. No, I'm confused.
The boy who has written a beautiful melody amid solitude ends up finally leaving the room at the end?
Leaving the room.
Yeah.
Well, there's something about... Damn. I wonder what he wrote. It's so funny because you're also going through retranslations. There's Goros